countries.
That's due to a shit ton of historic factors.
Yeah, but do you agree? Wait.
Why
Yes.
are we paring down?
Oh, wait, hold on. I agree. Wait, one thing at a time.
America has
I
different
agree.
geography. It has a different history. It has
Oh
a
my
different
God.
governing system.
Yes, I
And
agree.
so why
they're
is all of
different
that being
countries.
compressed down to racist?
I agree. Wait, hold on. Calm down.
You said that the
You're
only
very. Oh
definition
my
you
God!
could give
Please,
were differences
please.
in
I'm
productivity
begging
and
you.
racism.
Calm.
Please explain.
I wasn't accusing you of being racist right here. I was asking you.
Said that.
Calm.
Go
please
back into the
quit
video.
being defensive. Wait, please,
Minutes, Mark.
please.
Go ahead and look at it.
Oh my God,
Like,
please! I'm begging you. I was
no
asking
way
you a
cannot be
question.
proven wrong
I was
here.
asking you a yes.
It's so hard with them both talking over each other.
I
He
know.
says there's no way that you're not proven wrong here. He says you literally called me a racist in the video.
Yeah.
And you're compressing what should be a multi-factor analysis down to one factor, racism.
Right.
All valid points.
Right. Yeah, but that's the problem is that, Vaush is like, listen, I'm going to make my volume louder than yours. Because I don't know if you notice, it seems like his volume has increased a little bit.
Right.
Of course, this conversation. And I'm just going to talk over you, basically.
Yeah. Bad faith tactic.
Right.
Yes, no question at the beginning before I answer. Please, this isn't a gotcha. I'm not trying to trap you. I'm trying to answer.
That's a lie.
Yeah, huge lie. I'm just asking you, what? It's just a yes, no question. What?
I'm just asking questions, okay? I'm not trying to trap you. Look at that's his whole game.
Yeah. You have
a damn question.
Gotchas.
You have to explain how they developed grade school. Otherwise, you're wrong. That's not a trap. Kind of seems like a
That's
trap.
not a
to
gotcha
me.
or anything.
No, I don't. I don't gotcha people. They walk directly into walls over and over again. I'm not.
I never gotcha them. They just walk repeatedly into walls.
Listen,
right.
Adam, I don't listen. All I do is I put a blindfold over you and spin you around in a circle 10 times and then push you into a maze. Okay. I'm not responsible for you walking in the wall.
Yeah. It's not my fault. I didn't do anything.
No,
I'm innocent.
Yeah.
Trying to gotcha anyone, okay? I was asking, I just asked you, you acknowledge these countries have different capital available for business development, which of course, obviously they do. No one would argue that. Yes, it's because of historical factors. I'm not denying.
Yeah, what does he mean by capital though? I mean, if they want to build a factory in Mexico, first of all, they have to have people that have the desire to build a factory and want, to hire people in the local economy, all that stuff.
Right.
That we're not at the racist part yet, okay? So
good.
We're not at the part where I call you racist yet. So just hold on.
Good faith. Good faith, Gary here.
The studies that I've seen.
Just wait till I call you racist, please. Please wait till I call you racist before you get triggered, okay?
Yeah. Don't head me off ahead of time here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you. I'm warming up to that. I'm gonna call you racist here. Yeah. Just not right now.
Right. Please let me wind up the trap first, okay?
Yes. You're stepping into it too soon.
Yes, it's because of historical factors. I'm not denying that. We're not at the racist part yet, okay? So, the studies that I've seen on relative worker productivity have been pretty consistent. The idea that a Chinese worker...
sources.
I don't have any, but if you'd like me to send them to you later, I'd be happy to pull them up. Okay. I don't have all of them archived right now.
How many economics books have you read? Give me your top 3.
All of them.
Give me your top 3.
I can't. I enjoy all of them.
Give me your top 5. Give me your top 3. Look at that. I've read them all. I've read them, every one of them.
There you go.
So anyway, I hope you understand that behavior like that is very unbecoming in immediate conversation. It just makes it seem like you don't have an argument for the field, so you have to run back to the bleachers.
Well, to me, it makes it sound like you haven't read any books, Vaush. To me, it makes it sound like you're a bumbling idiot.
Right.
Vaush, this is the perfect opportunity for you to pitch Stephanie Kelton's The Deficit Myth to your audience. What are you doing? You're missing a giant opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You could pitch AOC's favorite economics book.
First of all, it's hilarious that he's like, what you're doing is not good for a good faith conversation. It's like, first of all, fuck you, Vaush. Like, from the second this conversation started, you were not You did not pose anything here from a good faith conversation.
Yeah.
So to levy that claim against What If is hilariously rich.
Yes.
Look,
Ha ha ha.
in
Projection.
China,
Oh, look at this. He's playing his own game now. Did you catch that?
I did.
Ha ha
But
ha.
see,
Projection.
that's true. And that's exactly what's going on here.
It is true.
Yeah.
factory or sweatshop workers, okay? From what I've read, and this seems to be pretty consistent, they produce as much or more than factory workers here in America.
From what I've read, why he's saying he read something. Such why can't he produce their source?
What does he mean when he says they produce as much or more? What does that mean? What do those words mean?
Yeah, we don't know.
Do you mean they
It's
just
not-
produce the same number of widgets? That's not what
Right.
productivity is measuring.
Yes, yeah. You need to know the margin of those widgets.
It's the value of the output after you get rid of the value of the input.
Yeah,
Like, this
exactly.
is
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah. He knows about input output from the
Oh
models
my
thing.
god.
Yeah. If you input too much and you output nothing, you're gonna lose productivity. Actually.
Right.
Like factories in China are like underproducing. It's like a industrial powerhouse of the planet, you know. But they still get paid way, way, way less. Now
Well, that would mean, Vaush, that what you're saying is that in China and all these third world countries,
Communist.
whoever's in all these, communist countries, that, the businesses, or in China's case, the government is screwing over their workers far greater than they are in America. That's what you're saying, because you're saying, well, somebody's skimming that money. Someone's skimming that profit.
Right.
So who is it, Vaush? I wonder.
Is it those Chinese communists?
Who else is it going to be?
Right.
you said that the world economy would be torn apart by the idea that wages aren't proportional to productivity, which is a very funny and very libertarian thing to say. It's like, if my 101 econ models aren't perfectly predictive of the most complicated system in all of human existence.
Okay, I finally figured we don't need Vaush anymore. I figured out his argument. He's saying that it will tear apart the system because if wages are above productivity, obviously you're going to be losing money on things. So that's not a sustainable business model.
Well, obviously, but he's just saying that productivity. Well, what he's saying isn't really sensical, I guess, because he's saying product, and maybe this is I'm not a witch. Okay. I'm not a learned economist. So maybe he's just conceptualizing this completely incorrectly by saying, because he's using productivity in multiple ways to mean multiple different things. Like it could just be definitionally wages and productivity are just tied together by how productivity is defined.
I don't
So he's
think
ba- 'cause-
so. I think productivity is based on sales.
No, it is to some respect, but so it's just basically he's just pointing to, metaphorically or not literally, he's pointing to the wage productivity gap that currently exists, and he's saying therefore that means they're not related. That's all he's doing in this conversation.
I'm trying to figure out, is GDP sales or inventory or both?
It's just a measure of goods and services.
Right. Okay.
Do you have a
I
better
don't
theory
know.
of the world?
Then the
Than
idea that
productivity?
then the idea that wages track perfectly onto productivity.
Yeah. Do you have an idea?
Calculating GDP, it refers to the purchase of new capital goods, that is, business equipment, new commercial real estate, such as buildings, factories, and stores.
Can you have
GDP
something you
is the
can shove
total
into a
monetary
computer
or
simulator?
market value of all finished goods and services produced within a country's borders in a specific time period.
But it is sales.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I guess when you build a building, you're technically buying it because you're buying all the resources, all the labor and stuff like that. And it becomes an asset on somebody's balance sheet. Like the hospital owns the building.
Right.
Inflation wages come out.
Nobody
wages as
can.
they've existed over the last 1,000 years.
Nobody can.
Yes, they can.
Absolutely, they cannot.
There's loads of historians, Peter Turchin, Angus Madison, who have been able to predict wages across history.
You can predict
from the variables of productivity.
Wait, averages?
And wage supply.
Wait,
Yeah.
averages? Well, I thought we're talking about
Yeah,
productivity.
yeah. So,
Wouldn't productivity
for example,
vary between individuals
the Turchin
and
economic
population?
models
Okay.
were able to
Oh, now he's saying productivity
what I-
varies from person to person.
Right. This is when my brain fell out of my skull when I was listening to this. Like, productivity is only measured in averages. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, does someone come around to your desk and measure your product? I guess they do to some extent. I
No,
mean,
like
they
an
try
individual-
to guesstimate it. You're
Like a company, like your boss is going to try to wage what your productivity is to
Right,
make a decision
gauge,
about
yeah.
whether, or I'm sorry, to gauge, deciding whether he's going to give you a raise, whether he's going to fire you,
Right.
Reprimand you, whatever. But when you're talking about like broad economic statistics, they're not measuring the individual productivity of people.
right.
They're giving an average assessment of the whole country.
Right, yeah.
You
The
can't,
lumber industry produced this much wood, which was sold, to various
right?
people. They
Like,
have
I guess,
receipts.
right. Like, I guess you as an individual could look at, like what the average productivity / GDP / wages, and then compare it to your own to figure out where you are compared to the average statistic. But like, I don't know what the fuck Vaush is talking about.
Right.
predict wages across England from looking at the population and the product. And
We're
the
not
land
talking about
availability and
averages.
productivity.
What would that have to do with productivity? Averages.
It's medieval England. Your productivity is attached to how much soil you have.
Of course, it's by
And,
averages.
For example, you can look at stats across the 19th century, look at increases in mechanization. And
You don't think Vaush looks confused here? I mean, he looks totally confused.
He does look totally confused, but it's like I feel like it's a put on.
I don't know.
Like, doesn't it? I don't know.
increases
To me,
in
it's like,
industrial.
to me, it comes off as like the fake obtuse. I don't understand what you're talking about, sort of.
Like, I don't understand because you're wrong. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. I just think he's bewildered.
Right.
Ability. And then
What's his chat saying? You already said why. Soy? There was some chats
Nothing
that
of
were,
interesting.
Yeah, there were some chats that were really going after what if.
from
So,
that, and
I'm gonna
attach
try this a third
population
time.
of that and get
What
wages
does this
out.
have to do with productivity? Averages, when you look at averages, you're looking at like total social development, not productivity. If we want to find a model that determines wages based on productivity, you'd have to have a very specific and very fine-tuned algorithm that you could punch a bunch of pre-existing characteristics into and get an individual's wages. Because otherwise, we're not really talking about productivity.
What the fuck is he even talking about?
This is what I'm saying. He just disagrees, and I guess he doesn't. I don't know if he realizes this or not. He just disagrees fundamentally with the way productivity is calculated.
Right. Yeah.
Which, if you want to make that argument, you can say those words with your mouth hole and make that argument. But he's like claiming that he's not, that he's on board with productivity, but it has to calculate individual people's wages, which is not how productivity is measured at all.